Right, today we're very honoured to have Keith Nevols with us, who is the parliamentary candidate for the Liberal Democrats. And today's interviewing panel consists of Ashley, Stephen and Lewis. And without any further ado, I shall let you commence with the first question, if you may.
Okay, I want to focus on housing. Can we ever make housing genuinely affordable for the local people?
Yes, I believe we can. At the moment we're in the middle of a house building programme, and what we need to do is to stress to certain councils that a certain amount of that should be available for, in my view, social housing and affordable housing for local people. I think it's important to get younger people on to the housing ladder. We're introducing a number of schemes by which we could help to do this. One of which is the rent house to rent scheme, which has been introduced recently, by which the government would lend people between 18 and 30 a deposit of £1,500 to pay the deposit, and they would pay it back in instalments. This would help to build up a sort of reserve by which they could save up their own deposit then to buy, or if they wish to continue to rent. There are certain schemes that governments can do to make housing more affordable, and Liberal Democrats have a number of ideas in that area.
Okay.
Second question on housing is, there appears to be a disparity in the way repairs and maintenance are handled in relation to the council housing, favouriting those that don't look after their properties over those who do. What could be done to rectify this?
So I don't quite understand the question. In council housing, you're saying that...
In council housing, favouriting those that don't look after their properties over those who do.
Right, this is just specifically council housing referring to, not the private sector.
Yeah.
All landlords, including councils, have a duty of care to their tenants. There shouldn't be that favouritism going on. Any repair should be reported to the landlords, regardless if they're the private or public sector, and that should be dealt with. I have to say I'm not aware of that sort of favouritism you're referring to, but there are laws that exist in there for any tenants to push that forward.
Okay.
Okay. Third question. We are all looking to go to university, us three.
Mm-hmm.
What is your personal opinion on tuition fees?
Right. Obviously, as you can probably imagine, I've spoken quite a bit about tuition fees in the last few years. It's certainly something which our party has made a hash of. But we've come up with a scheme by which the younger people would not pay anything before they go, any fees, that is, not any fees while they're there or any fees after they graduate. They would not start repaying any fees until they at least earn 21,000 or whatever the equivalent figure is by then. Personally, I don't agree with tuition fees. I think they're a disincentive to education, and I would like to see them reduced and hopefully abolished. At the moment, we've come up with this scheme, which I hope we'll be able to build on, and like I said, in the long run, reduce fees completely. But I hold up my hands and say that my party have made a right hash of that policy, and we will continue to pay the price, I'm sure.
Yeah. We've had a significant growth in our population over the recent years, and with local schools, places in such high demand, what could be done to evaluate the situation?
Right, we certainly need to invest a lot more in our schools, essentially. When we talk about population numbers, to be honest, we don't really know how much there is because we don't know how many are leaving. One of our main policies is to reintroduce exit checks, so we can check how many people are actually leaving the country, and that gives us a better idea of what the actual population is. Where there are shortages, and if we do need more schools and more hospitals and other infrastructures, it's the responsibility of the government to ensure they are provided for.
Next question's on transport. What measures might be put in place to deal with the rising numbers of potholes, hazardous footpaths, air quality and noise pollution generated by traffic?
Ooh, there's a lot there. The Liberal Democrats are working towards a greener government. We've introduced a number of greener measures in the last few years, and we've got a number of nature laws planned in the next government ahead. Things like terms of air quality, we've got a Clean Air Act in plan, which should make a contribution towards that. There are also EU targets we're working towards. Things like potholes and things, again, that's a county council issue. We need to make sure they've got the resources to do that. one of my constituents at the last election, potential constituents asked the council how long will it take to repair the potholes in Kent, and it was told 220 years. So we might not be able to wait that long.
With a new commitment to upgrade Stockbury roundabout and lacklustre support for Kent highways to pursue a completion of the Northern Relief Road, should this remain a Swale Council priority, and if so, what benefit will it bring exactly?
Right, so the Stockbury roundabout rebuilding, that's good news. I'm pleased to see that. The Northern Relief Road, I'm amazed that it's just been forgotten. I can't see, well, that should be a top priority as far as I can see. The main benefit, of course, would be that traffic will be deflected from the town centre, which leads on to earlier what you said about cleaner air. I'd say it's something I've always been amazed about the last few years. Whenever I've campaigned in the Great Eastern area, they're just completely cut off because of they bought their houses under the impression that road would be completed. They're still waiting 5-6 years later on. If I was elected MP, that's certainly something I'll press for the council towards. I think that you can't leave something half finished like that.
What can be done to improve public transport, given to the local bus services are being cut?
Right, one of our key policies is related to younger people, is that we would give 2/3 discounts to fares for younger people under 21, to encourage greater use of the transport. We have a number of measures to try to, again, encourage further use of that. Again, it comes back to the environment, making further use. Are you just referring to buses or trains as well? We're planning to use greater effort to put freight onto trains to try and reduce prices by using them more on the private sector.
Next one's on economy. What might you be able to do to support local businesses?
Right, firstly, to support local businesses. Firstly, to keep growth, and that's the most important thing. To keep a deficit plan, to keep paying off the debts, to keep the country into growth. Growth helps businesses, it helps all of us, and it helps them develop internally. Secondly, to sort of ensure our membership of the European Union, so that that market of 500 million across 28 countries is there. I think businesses grow when the environment is there, and it's up to governments to make sure that the environment is there. So when we do make spending cuts or borrow more, that we do it in a responsible, balanced way.
The next question is on local facilities. What facilities would you provide that would benefit the local community, especially younger people?
Right, I guess this comes up to the development of the town centre. When I moved here 11 years ago, I was told they're going to develop town centre. It's a good time to move in, but unfortunately we're still waiting. The sort of facilities I'd like to see: greater shops. I'd like to see the cinemas has been planned. I'd like to see more restaurants, more things to do for younger people. When I speak to young people, they tell me that there's just not enough for them to do, and especially teenage girls say when they go shopping, they go to Blue Water, Canterbury, Maidstone. We want that money here. So I'm hoping that the development of Sittingbourne and Sheerness as well will try and attract the big names and try and get more facilities, and that way we can have more money spent in the local towns. But again, that's only so much the MP can do in that case. So it's leaning on the councils to get a move on.
This is kind of like a general question.
Okay.
If there is anything you would do to achieve in the Sittingbourne area during your time as an MP, what would it be?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh yeah. If there was one thing that you would like to achieve in the Sittingbourne area during your term as our MP, what would it be?
I think that the development of the town centre. I think in both Sittingbourne and Sheerness, you go down the streets and there's often more shops closing, more empty shops, less and less people. I'd want to see a vibrant town centre. I'd want to see people, young people, but people of all ages, coming into town to do their shopping, to enjoy themselves, to have a meal, to go to cinema, to do all sorts of activities. And I think if I spent a term and at the end of that was more vibrant than when I started, I'd be happy.
Next question is in general. Who's your favourite musical group or artist, and why?
Oh. My favourite musical group or artist, and why? Who do I play the most? I suppose maybe a sign of my age, Madness. I've always liked Madness's music.
Yes.
When growing up at school, the ska was the ska movement, late 70s, early 80s, and Madison I just thought were a great group. And even now I just play their music. I've got an overall fondness for 80s music, but that could be because I was younger then. So.
Still in general, outside of politics, what do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
I enjoy, chess is a key hobby of mine. I enjoy playing chess. I enjoy reading things about history, military history. I'm a friend of the Imperial War Museum, so I like being involved in exploring museums and things and finding out. I work in London, so that's often a good place to go for tourism around. And films as well. That's why I made cinemas earlier. I like seeing films.
Oh yeah. This is another general question.
Okay.
What was your favourite shop in Sittingbourne?
Oh, favourite shop in Sittingbourne?
Yeah.
Oh, so my wife would be better than I I suppose the one that comes to mind is Burton's. I bought a few things from Burton's. They do some nice clothes there.
It's mine as well.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Provide student discount as well at Burton's, that's quite nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
That's
it.
it.
That's it.
Oh,
I'd
okay.
like to say thank you ever so much for agreeing to do this. I hope it wasn't too taxing.
No.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Let me stop.